Welcome back to The Edge. TikTok's time has come. What's it going to be? Are we done with the March core update? Finally, please? Google warns there's a new reality in search. AI news, AI tools, and another berry blast. You're listening to News from The Edge for the week of April 29th, 2024, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web Radio. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, owner of Site Strategics. We're covering SEO and digital marketing news of the week, separate from our weekly interview series, getting more news to you as quickly as possible. Be sure to check out everything over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. The title sponsor of this news series is Site Strategics. Proud to be able to have us as a title sponsor. Proud to actually have this company. We're 20 years old this year and cranking out digital marketing and digital marketing success, more importantly, each and every year. All right, that said, joining me this week, back from a hiatus. We're both back from a hiatus because we didn't do news last week either. 2 weeks. We've been bereft of news, guys. So there's,
wow.
Yeah, I know. Certainly been a lot along the way here. That's Morty Oberstein. He's the head of SEO branding at Wix. Morty, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Had a pretty exciting week over at Indie PopCon where we were interviewing all sorts of cosplayers, including a slew of Mandalorians that decided to sit into our studio and never leave. Evidently, that was the way. But had a great time. How about you? How has your weeks been? You've done a few things as well.
Yeah, we were in New York together. Went
That's
to a
right.
Mets game. Yeah,
That was a good game. That really was a
that
good
was
game.
fun.
And that
was
stadium
fun.
is fantastic.
It's nice. I think like it's relatively newish.
Like 2009?
It lacks a little bit in character.
Okay.
A little bit, but it's not as bad as a lot of the other stadiums are. It's like somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle was actually a giant apple that was kind of hanging out there, completely eating.
Oh, that's in the old stadium, actually.
No, it was right there in the middle of the stadium. It was an apple that raises up and lowers down, and it was taking out a lot of seats.
When they hit a home run,
right?
The apple goes up. That was from the old stadium.
Oh, okay. They brought that back.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
no, I had a great time there. We took the train out, took the subway back. Never experienced the New York subway before. That was great.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing like New York subway.
Especially with a guy that decided he was sleeping.
You walk in smelling clean, and you walk out smelling like piss.
My wife told me to wash immediately. No. But we checked out SEO FOMO while we were out there. Thanks for inviting us out. That was a good time.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for more events.
Absolutely.
Now we're doing one in John Shahada in News Dash over in May.
Oh, well, that's cool.
That is cool.
Did we get invited? I guess not.
But you didn't get non-invited. It's an open event. You can come.
But did you invite us? No?
Yeah, you're invited.
Hey!
You're invited.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. So
hang out.
that said, we haven't been talking about news for a while. Sorry, folks. So we tried to get together while we were in New York and didn't really work out the way I planned. So sorry about that. Morty was there, Jake was there, but I was fumbling with some tech. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah, it is odd because, we're pretty clued in on tech, but the camera wasn't actually doing what I wanted to do. Anyway, that said, we've got some news here. Let's jump into one of Morty's favorite topics, TikTok, from search engine land. A bill requiring the TikTok sale or ban becomes law in the U.S. TikTok says the measure signed into law by President Joe Biden today is unconstitutional and plans to challenge it in court. How could it be unconstitutional? Why is it unconstitutional if you're a Chinese company? Sorry. Okay, well, that said, it is a new law. They've given TikTok, or should they ByteDance, a 9-month window to actually 90 days to actually sell the application to an interested party here in the U.S. or face a full ban in 9 months. And if they don't sell, they will be banned in the U.S. That sets up a high-stakes showdown, as the Chinese government said is actually going to oppose this forced sale. The law is the latest development in a long-running saga around TikTok's Chinese ownership and potential national security risks, which has seen the app threatened with bans before. Here's the deal. That 9 months, interestingly enough, actually lands on Inauguration Day 2025.
Like the actual day?
Yes,
Is it really?
January 25th.
No, that's great.
Oh, man.
You can't make that up.
No, you can't. So that was from Danny Goodwin over at Search Engine Land. A lot of different news stories out there, but what's your hot take on what's going on with this TikTok sale or forced sale?
I mean, like, they're gonna figure it out somehow. Like they're gonna like somehow construct the sale where it meets the guidelines, but whoever's still in control is still gonna be in control,
Right.
and everybody will say it's a win. Is
Hundreds.
that how politics generally works?
Usually there's a loser at some point in time. Oh, well, I mean, from compromise, right? There's always a space.
Right.
There's a lot of money in this thing as well,
I
but you
can't
don't really
imagine they're gonna let the U.S. market slide away.
TikTok generated $14.7 billion for U.S. small businesses in 2023. That is not a slight number. There's 170 million U.S. users, and brands and businesses are going to be impacted because they won't be able to reach those people anymore. In fact, when we were at PopCon, there was one of our last interviews was a lady that actually does Pokemon terrariums. Incredible sculpture of like a little inner world for Pokemon, right? She gets 90% of her business off of TikTok. And we were talking about that, and she's very, very worried about where her audience is going to find her after that goes through. So there's a lot of small businesses that generate almost all of their revenue off of the TikTok environment and the marketing that's in there. So, Jacob, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, it's the constitutionality thing is interesting because TikTok, of course, is just going to say you're hurting free speech.
Mm-hmm.
The government's going to come back and say you're doing illegal things. Obviously, if there's a free speech app that also, encourages murdering people, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but I'm taking the extreme here, right?
Right.
There are apps all the time that are banned just because it goes against Google policy or Apple policy. Like things get banned all the time. It rarely reaches the point where the government tries to ban it. So it's different and weird. I think the thing that confuses me is that everyone has all these accusations about what the app does, but there's very little like evidence. It's just all these theories. It's very conspiratorial. Like, it's all this data's out there, but like, or I see data flowing, but no one has really like.
There was one, I remember interviewing an individual, or we did a story about a study that they had actually set up a fleet of users and had different user personas defined and could see the algorithm work towards teens and 13 and under with a lot of sexualization very quickly into the testing of these different personas. So there was some data out there that showed some disturbing patterns of the algorithm working around teens and younger.
And that's concerning.
Absolutely.
But that's an algorithm.
Right.
That's an algorithm doing what an algorithm does.
Right.
How do I get people to watch longer?
Right.
That is just a computer doing what it's designed to do. There's no ethics involved in there's an eyeball.
Unless it's being manipulated, that there's a certain additional factor and variable into the different age brackets that you're disclosing.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, I've talked to people before. They're like, I don't even like getting on Facebook anymore because like when I look at my screen, it's just a bunch of girls in bikinis doing weird dances. Like, that's your algorithm, and that's because that's what you keep looking at.
Yeah.
Every time it pops up on your screen, and you click it and stare at it for 30 seconds. The algorithm's like, oh, you like this,
right?
And if you click on it because you see it the first time and you spend too much time on it, and then you keep clicking through that, you like it. You can get around that by saying, stop showing me this if that's not what you want on your screen. But like that's the algorithm doing what it does. The algorithm doesn't even necessarily know what a girl in a bikini is. It just sees, oh, these videos are similar and this is what this person likes.
Right.
So I don't know. There's that. But I also feel like there's just not a lot of actual evidence of anything bad happening. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what it
I wouldn't mind digging that up because I do want to be able to have that educated perspective of what has been seen. On top of that, just the blatant statements of security risks.
Right.
What is that? For the sheer fact that the U.S. is banning this or about to ban this, I mean, that is precedent setting in its own right.
And I feel like the biggest complaints they have, the data they're mining from us and everything else, like, what do you think Twitter and Facebook are doing?
Right.
Yeah, but it's a completely different. It's a completely different ballgame when it's a foreign power that's a little bit nefarious.
Absolutely. Right. But what do you think Facebook and Twitter are doing, or any other company that you've never heard of that could be doing it and selling it?
They don't care about you,
right?
your data.
Yeah, I know. But like, why
They
couldn't?
care about national security
Yes,
data. So
yes,
no one's worried like Zuckerberg's going to destroy the country.
agreed. But was to stop
Or
someone from starting
yeah,
just a fun little app that's a game where you make blocks disappear that does the exact same thing, and then they sell it to China, and you just don't know about it because it's not the biggest social media app.
Right.
I'm just saying it's already happening, and everyone's freaking out because this is the biggest one. Like, there are other things that we could be doing to try to prevent this, not going after
some
potentially the biggest app.
personal filtering and behavior modification on the human side.
Right.
Right. But you also have kids. You
Yep.
have
Oh, yeah.
kids that don't have that level of maturity whatsoever. So as long
Yeah.
as if you say, hey, don't walk down there and get a cigar, hey, don't walk down that road and go buy a bottle, right?
That's exactly what they're going to do. Oh.
That's
Yeah.
that's right down the road. but that's the scenario, is that maturity comes with adulthood comes with maturity.
Right.
And even that, there's such a subconscious factor of social manipulation there that we're operating on multiple levels of awareness. And for adults, they still don't understand en masse the algorithm and how it's actually responding to their behavior.
Sure.
You know, so we got some issues, and it's larger issues than just TikTok.
Yeah.
But with the factors of China there, and
Yeah.
on top of the fact that China is actually showing to its youth more educational
Right.
content, and it's not sexualized,
Yeah.
there is a true manipulation of the
Yeah.
facts there. So, but from
They know.
yeah, they
Yeah.
absolutely know. I'd like to see some studies on that, though.
And to the point of like businesses and everything else, if TikTok goes away tomorrow, the woman that we interviewed,
Right.
it will hurt. But the thing is, people still want to spend money. They will go somewhere else.
Yeah, something else will be created.
It will create a stress for her where she has to
Go to
find
Instagram. Is that the same thing?
and that's just it.
Yeah.
She will have the stress of needing to figure out where her audience goes, and they might split up among 2 or 3 other social media networks, and so she might have to spread herself out a little bit, but she will be okay. No one else is doing what she's doing right now, so her audience will find her again quickly. People who have seen it will find it again. She will latch onto 1 or 2 social media networks, and she'll build that audience up again. She will be okay.
Yeah.
But it's scary because it just feels like you're starting over. It's scary because she is established, it is working,
Yep.
and she doesn't have to figure it all out again. And I get that. But the thing is, when TikTok, if it goes away for everybody all at once. So everybody's in that
It's a
same
level
boat.
setting event.
It's not going away just for her.
Right.
If we were to, where'd Morty go? If it goes away just for her,
Mhm.
then that's unfair for her, and that's not good.
No, I agree. There was a Washington Post article that was saying that this is actually going to be a end to short form video as we know it, and they're referencing CapCut, which is an editing program, an app that made it easy to actually edit short form videos. That's also going to be part of this ban as well. And the fact of the matter is, how extensive is this going to be? But short form video is not going to go away. YouTube Shorts, you know how many YouTube Shorts my kids watch on a daily basis? It's crazy. And it's going so quick. So it's there. The medium will find its way to whatever platforms,
Yep.
All right. So another article from Search Engine Journal from Matt Southern. Check this out. Google March 2024 core update officially completed a week ago. Google completed the major March 2024 core update on April 19th, a week before announcing it to the public. So it's over, folks. And is this the longest running algorithm change, core algorithm update? I think, Glenn Gabe was actually hitting it each and every day, talking about some observations. He's got like 800 sites that he watches and is able to actually see different behavior as the update was going through. This update places actually less emphasis on links as a ranking factor and prioritizes content quality, trustworthiness, and depth as they explain it. So, Morty, has this been the longest running update?
I think officially it's got to be the longest running update. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at 51, 52 days or something like that.
Something like that. Fascinating that they waited a week
to announce it.
Someone told me that, they didn't want to have the announcement during their earnings call.
Yes.
Which I found interesting because they said, 45% of all the results that are unhelpful are gone. So wouldn't you want that during your earnings call? Also, the earnings call doesn't care about any of this stuff.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Well, I mean, there is a large dissonance, a large pushback of how terrible search results are right now. Constant observation, and this is not just in the SEO lane. There's a lot of people complaining about what the crap Google has been doing, and on top of that, the Reddit growth has been exponential. That literally, it's half the SERP on a regular basis. So Google has opened a feedback form to allow publishers to report any issues they've noticed from the update, though changes won't be made for individual websites, as they say. So thoughts there about the core update? Have you been able to see any observations here with the tools that you have access to?
So, scoop, breaking news, which is why I wasn't spacing on the last story. I was running through some data I just got in from SEMrush. So this is the first place that you're going to hear this, and there's more of a
go ahead,
more of a run through coming later. But basically, and I said when anecdotally when I was running through I was running through 100, 150 of these of SERP queries, and looking through the SERP and the volatility and the shifting on particular queries. I didn't notice as much, like, say, drastic rank volatility, meaning you have like URLs that were ranking 20 or worse before the update, now ranking top 10, top 5, or top 3. But looking at the data, a greater proportion of them, of the top 5, of the top 10 results, are URLs that weren't even ranking top 20 before the update, that relative to other core updates.
Got it.
So meaning there's more drastic ranking fluctuations, and Google putting URLs in that weren't even part of the ranking consideration for page 1 are now ranking in far greater proportions compared to other core updates. So my initial anecdotal reading of it was wrong.
Huh.
Yeah.
So out of this, what Google has highlighted as a criteria I was looking at, they're targeting link spam and manipulation attempts, or looking at low value content purely for garnering manipulative links and inflating rankings. Also, links intended to boost site rankings artificially, including manipulative outgoing links and the repurposing of expired domains with radically different content to gain search visibility. So those are behaviors that are representative of the sites that have been removed or sizably deranked or, to the point, de-indexed. So what you're seeing is a rise of a heck of a lot of ones that kind of getting pushed down by all of these manipulative efforts, right? So some of these are rising to the top.
The core updates, they're saying that they've gone after, unhelpful content, however you want to define that.
Right.
Which is like the new term. Like, it's not like quality or not quality. It's helpful versus unhelpful.
Yep.
And their claim is they've basically removed 45% of the unhelpful results that were showing up. It's saying that very broadly. I think they're saying that very broadly. It would seem to be like one of the, when I was talking with Barry about this, asking him what kind of data you want for search engine land.
Right.
And we're going back and forth, what could we show that would kind of tell you the story of whether or not that 45% actually happened or not, which there's no way to actually tell. It would be seeing more newer or unranked URLs now ranking.
Right.
Compared to other updates.
Correct. Right.
That would be a sign that and I've been very skeptical about that 45% number, but this would be a sign that perhaps Google is closer to that 45% number that they're saying relative to other updates. Now, by the way, I don't know what that means, right? That can mean in other updates, they got rid of 1% of the unhelpful results. And in this update, they got rid of 2%.
Got it. All right.
It could be they gotten rid of 45. I don't know, but it does seem to point towards the update being a little bit more powerful and a little bit more refined at removing those unhelpful results than other updates. There was something different about the update. So perhaps I've been too hard on Google on Twitter in the last few days.
You've been hard on Google for a while. I mean, all things being
no, I'm usually pretty balanced, but on this one, my new hit handle is 45% give or take on X.
Yep, saw that. So we are going to wait with bated breath as some of the SEO professionals, such as yourself and Glenn Gabe and Lily Ray and Marie Haynes, and of course Barry, start digging in here and looking at what really has happened with tools such as SEMrush and Ahrefs and the like, to be able to see what that percentage really was, if there can ever be that kind of analysis. But there's a lot of data out there to be able to show what really happened. Google's saying helpful content. Google, this was a big one. It could very well be as big as 2011, 2012, when it all kind of comes down to it. Biggest thing that we're seeing along the ride this entire time was the rise of Reddit into the SERP across the board. And the key focus there, outside of the API connection that they paid for, was that helpful content resides in Reddit. There's organic, there's natural language inside those Reddit posts that have risen to the top as these manipulative sites have been vacated. So it could very well be a combination of Google's paying attention to much more helpful content and Reddit and Quora, but Quora never really passed much of that growth, represented that type of helpful content organically, and on top of that, these manipulative sites got axed through this process. So hopefully we're going to be able to see more reporting on this. But before anything else, I do want to take a moment here and talk about something that we're doing over here at Site Strategics. We're our title sponsor of the show. Here's a question for you guys. How do you create authoritative subject matter expertise that we know Google's actually looking for? You got to learn from your client. It's always kind of daunting organizing a well thought through interview process. Well, that's what we actually do here at Site. We actually developed a SME interview process that's backed by our years of interview techniques, as well as SEO research and buyer's journey persona definition. You can bring us in as an SEO SWAT team, so to speak, extracting some incredible knowledge from your SMEs, understanding their voice and get their passion from what they do, and be able to actually deliver content in a number of different ways to you. So we can actually come in and be able to have a 2-hour, 3-hour session with different SMEs of your clients or your own company, and be able to extract a heck of a lot of helpful information that can make its way to your website and social media. So if you're interested in what we can do for you, call us at 877-SEO for Web or 877-736-4932, or simply just go over to sitestrategics.com and find out more about this service, because it is pretty cool whenever we start unpacking SME information, because there's so many things that Google doesn't know that's trapped inside your SME's mind. That's kind of creepy.
It's not about you.
It's about SME. All right. What do you think about that, Morty? Was that fun?
I don't know what you're all talking about. Sounds like an inside joke.
Yeah, it really is. All right, so here's something. Google actually warns, this is from Search Engine Journal, Matt Southern again. Google warns of the new reality as search engines stumble. Google warns of this new reality amid search struggles, accelerates timelines, while critics allege prioritizing revenue over quality. So this is a pretty interesting article here. The Google Search division faces kind of this new operating reality with fewer resources and increased competition from the AI search space. Google plans to shorten project deadlines to accelerate the responsiveness, and critics allege that the leadership has led to a decline in search quality. Did you catch some of what Lily Ray was actually reposting? There was some timeline posts of what has been going on inside of the Google Search division, and how over the course of from 2016 to now, how search leadership has actually really screwed up and gotten us to that degree. Did you check that?
Well, there was a whole article.
Yeah.
There was a whole article about how it was basically a fight between the current VP of Search and the former VP of Search, Ben Gomes, and they basically put into Siberia,
right?
I.e., like the education team or something like that. But basically saying, hey, back and forth, the ads team is getting a little too close to the search team, and you're not really thinking about the long-term quality picture of how things are supposed to function. And they said, not only do we think you're wrong, but we're going to make the head of the ads team the head of the search team. So how do you like them apples?
Oh, my Lord. And that's what that article I'm
summarizing
that was a huge article, and we'll grab that article and put it in the show notes as well. But yeah.
But it's funny to hear them talk about like this stuff in the context of that, because the current VP of Search is the guy in the article who everyone's complaining about. Where you see go back and forth with Ben Gomes, and Ben seems to be like the hero of Search fighting against the current VP, who's now the one saying we need to be more agile, we need to do this, we need to do that. Now, I think one of the things he said was, people are out there looking at all sorts of gizmos and widgets for whatever.
Right.
Right. Like Chat GPT, but people always come back to search because they trust Google. And that to me, like, does he actually believe that? Because if they believe that, then like they're like complete, it's like an emotional like dissonance of epic proportions because the trust in Google has only gone down. I'm not talking about SEOs, I'm talking about in general.
Right.
When you show up in front of Congress, you know what ends up happening? People trust you less, even if Congress is asking you stupid questions.
Oh, just the sheer fact that you're there. You better believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
just the
yeah.
sheer fact that you're there, and then you have like the, going back years already. The New Yorker writing articles, are the results getting worse, and The Verge writing articles about SEO and manipulation and blah blah blah.
Right.
All these publications writing articles about the quality of search results going down. Now, I think the quality has gone up overall, but that's a different point for a different time. But the fact is that you have a perception problem, not with the SEO industry. You have a perception problem with the wider tech community and probably beyond that at this point. And you're saying things like, no, but the reason why people come to Google is because they trust us. People come to Google because there's nothing better. And I'm not saying Google's bad. I think Google's still pretty good.
Yep. No.
But it doesn't feel like it feels like they're grasping. It feels like they're all over the place. And it feels like perhaps there's an emotional dissonance that's not good.
And there's also been a series of firings here as of late, as Google was publicly saying that no politics in the workplace. So there's also been a cultural punch or two inside the organization. So you've got search that's not effective. There's been a heck of a lot of cross-pollination between ads and search, and struggling to be able to see even what quality is from the search experience. You've got AI generating a heck of a lot of knowledge panel information as well. That's a bit lacking trust as well. You're seeing the optics of Google CEOs in front of Congress. And to wrap it all up, search, by and large, is getting worse than masses say, right? So this is not going well, and are we seeing the decline of Google and Alphabet to a larger degree?
I think they have a real branding problem. And I think like a lot of companies who have a branding problem, they're not aware of it till it gets really bad.
Yeah, you're right. You're
So
right.
you're seeing the early stages of that branding problem pop up. And I think you've seen that for a while. Again, with people talking about, are the results getting worse and yada, 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 and Google going in front of Congress and this and that. I don't think they realize they have I think they think they have a problem, but I think they think the problem's not that big of a deal and they can fix it.
Because they've had branding problems before. They've had legal issues before in front of the
yeah, but this is a totally. I mean, it's all cumulative.
Yep.
First off, right? All the different trials, the EU and the DOJ and Canada and Australia and the news results, blah blah blah.
Right.
It all adds up. Like people see this and they see the next story and they see the next story and they just see the headline, but it's cumulative branding problems. And I think people make this mistake. As someone who does a hell of a lot of branding, the branding problems are cumulative, meaning it's not usually a big event that causes a branding issue. There might be a big event that eventually like causes the boat to capsize, but the boat's been sinking for a long time, inch by inch by inch. And brands tend to ignore the inch by inch by inch, and only when they have a very big, momentous event that really is identifiable, then they say. So what you're seeing now, I think, is Google sinking inch by inch by inch and basically bailing out enough water to convince themselves they're not actually sinking.
Yeah.
From a perception point of view.
That's a very well stated point. There's going to be a tipping event, though. That's what this could very well be, or legislation in the court cases, right? Yeah.
It could be any number of things. It could be they release SGE and users just absolutely hate it and it falls completely flat, or investors lose confidence because they don't have an actual monetization model, right? Because Google Sundar Pichai came out the earning. Well, we have a model for earning money with the SGE. It feels like they're stuck between so many rocks and hard places.
Yep.
They have to release the SGE. They don't have a monetization plan for it, but they have to release it to make the investors happy. But the investors are not going to be happy when they realize they don't have a monetization plan. They have to add Reddit to the SERP because they need the first-hand experience and the first-hand knowledge to compete with TikTok and yada, yada, yada. But that causes a whole new perception problem. It's just that every move they make, every problem they have seems to be a rock and a hard place. And their issue is that they overall just keep going for the immediate solution to all of their problems. We need firsthand knowledge on the SERP as opposed to taking the hit in the short term and finding a real long-term solution to offer real firsthand knowledge and to incentivize that content to actually be created because it doesn't exist yet. They just pop Reddit on the SERP. as opposed to like integrating AI in a way that makes them look sophisticated and adopts AI and is very part of the trend of the AI. No, we'll just go with SGE, which, as Mike King pointed out, have you ever consumed an SGE album and be like, yeah, that's been really helpful and really novel and really something of actual value? No. So again, it's short term. It sounds like short-term thinking, and that's exactly what Raghavan said. Like, we agile and we have to get it seems a lot of like short-term thinking and not of long-term positioning of how do we solve this problem by getting back to what fundamentally separates us out from other search engines, which is quality results and trust.
There it is, folks.
Thank you for listening to the SEO rant.
I was about there. All right, folks, I got to call an audible. We got to tie this one off. We're going to go throw the berry blast in our newsletter. Please go over there, as well as the AI tools as well. Oh, yeah. And make sure you actually go over to InLinks. InLinks is a proud sponsor of Edge of the Web. You got to check them out. Elevate your SEO with entity-based keyword research. Uncover relevant clusters and user intent for your content. Start with InLinks keyword tool today. Go over to edgeofthewebRadio.com/InLinks. You sign up for free, and actually we'll throw a code in the show notes as well where you can get actually $20 off if you sign up. Sorry for running a little bit short here today, folks, but we had to welcome Morty back with a rant, and he did not.
Sorry.
No. You did not fail to deliver, so we appreciate that greatly.
Yeah, I feel like he's been pent up there.
I think so. He
couple episodes.
Exactly. He really exploded on the scene.
I blacked out. What happened?
Like Will Ferrell in Old School.
Old School, exactly. Thank you for getting that reference.
All right, we'll wrap up. Thank you, Morty. We'll connect with you next week. Make sure you check out the SERPs Up episode, dropping on Wednesday as well. Really good stuff coming out of SERPs Up on a regular basis, and fantastic production over there. Really.
Oh, top notch.
All right, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, putting a lot of this into our YouTube, as well as snackable tidbits from our interview. Don't forget to rankthispodcast.com/edge to let us know how we do on the show. Thanks for joining us. We've been a couple of weeks that we missed, but we're back with a vengeance. So go over to rankthispodcast.com/edge. And from all of us over the edge, stay safe, stay well, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.